Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar. Are you ready? Blending AI and human strengths for customer communication success. My name is Sharon Malik, and I'm part of the MHC marketing team. And today we have two speakers who I will introduce shortly. But first, I want to start with a few housekeeping items. First off, please be aware this webinar is being recorded and all of our attendees will receive a follow-up email with a link to that recording. Secondly, all participants will be muted today to prevent background noise, so please type in any questions you have into the Q&A section. And lastly, a post-webinar survey will appear when the webinar ends. And so please use this survey to let us know how we're doing and request any additional information so an MHC resource can follow up with you. We really appreciate your feedback. Before I introduce our speakers, I also want to provide an MHC snapshot for those of you unfamiliar with us. MHC is headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA, and we are proud of our loyal customer base with more than 1,300 customers spanning across more than 50 countries. We are especially proud that 43% of our customers have worked with us for more than 15 years. We are also recognized by a variety of esteemed analysts, including Gartner, Aspire, Quadrant, Aragon Research, and most importantly, we're deemed a leader by our own customers in G2 reports and by our valued customer employees, as a top workplace. And now to introduce our speakers today, Gina Armada is the CEO of MHC and has served in that role since 2019. She has spent over 25 years at the intersection of business and technology. She is passionate about helping customers leverage technology solutions to solve real-world business problems that improve operational efficiency and increase user productivity and engagement to drive competitive advantage and growth. Dawn Watz is the Chief People Officer and joined MHC in 2021. With over 25 years of experience, she has dedicated her career to transforming companies and the employee experience at work. Dawn's approach, centered on employee well-being and happiness, correlates to a company's success by fostering a culture of growth, continuous learning, and high levels of employee engagement. We're so delighted to have you both presenting today. So Gina and Dawn, over to you.
Thanks, Sharon. We are really excited about our dialogue today.
Yes, and thank you. I'm also equally excited to be a part of the conversation, and thanks again for the opportunity and including me.
So we can't ignore in the title of today's webinar the juxtaposition of artificial intelligence and human strengths. We're going to unpack the blending of humans and artificial intelligence, and we'll focus our attention today on the context of customer communications. Our goal is for everyone to take away at least one practical tip to act on in your professional or personal life. Let's get started. Today's conversation is really all about that intersection of human communication and technology. Throughout our dialogue, we'll reflect on how human ingenuity serves as the muse for intelligent automation. We'll discuss how human and machine strengths complement each other to create the optimal mashup. We'll discuss what we've learned and share some practical tips to learn more about AI and how to leverage artificial intelligence and automation effectively in your workplace. Finally, we'll share insights on how automation and AI can enhance your organization's customer communications and boost your competitive advantage. Let's jump in, and we'll start out with a question. Dawn, this may qualify as a leading question to ask a chief people officer, but humans or machines, who drives the greatest outcomes?
Well, yes, nothing happens without people. And at MHC, we're an intelligent automation software company, and we love technology. but we also recognize people's critical role in making change happen. There's so much discussion out there about the impact of artificial intelligence on humans that we wanted to get together today and talk about this very important topic. And before we dive in, it is important to remember again that nothing happens without humans. In fact, in these early days of AI, what we're learning today is how the strengths of our people and machines together drive the greatest outcomes.
So very true, a true blending. Before we get started, let's start with some basic terminology, because we are all learning right now in this time of very rapid change. As the global workforce adapts and learns how to leverage AI and prepares for these changes, it's really important to understand the terms. McKinsey, well-known research and advisory firm with expertise in AI and digital transformation, distinguishes between machine automation and artificial intelligence by highlighting their specific roles and capabilities. So first, machine automation. This refers to the use of machines to perform repetitive, predictable tasks that traditionally required human labor. It primarily focuses on enhancing efficiency and productivity by automating manual processes. Could be assembly line work in manufacturing. Think of it as rules-based execution. Artificial intelligence, AI, on the other hand, encompasses a broader range of technologies that enable machines to perform tasks requiring cognitive functions, such as reasoning, learning, decision-making. And this would include advanced applications like natural language processing, computer vision, and machine learning. AI can adapt and improve its performance based on data and experiences, just like humans, which is not a feature of traditional automation. So in essence, while machine automation tends to handle straightforward, repetitive tasks, AI is designed for more complex activities that involve judgment and adaptability, those that are typically handled by humans. And we are going to take terminology one step further. And we're going to get into a bit of alphabet soup here, but there are key terms and acronyms that are really important to learn and understand. And again, we relied on McKinsey for these definitions. So first, let's talk about the broad category again of AI. AI is the broad field of developing machines that can replicate human behavior. So it could include tasks that relate to perceiving things, reasoning, learning, problem solving. And the more examples that can be ingested, which will create larger and larger data sets of information, these AI systems learn and improve over time. Machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI, and machine learning is about algorithms detecting patterns in those large data sets and learning to make decisions by processing data rather than by receiving explicit programming or rules. So machine learning powers applications such as image recognition, recommendation engines, natural language processing, referred to as NLP, which allows virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa to understand spoken commands. Next, we've got deep learning. This is again a subset of machine learning that uses neural networks to ingest data and process it through multiple iterations. And by doing so, it's learning increasingly complex features based on that data and making sophisticated predictions. This is the type of technology that's used for predicting purchases, future stock values, maybe fantasy football in the future. And then finally, generative AI. We hear a lot about this in the news today. Generative AI is a subset of deep learning that uses exceptionally large data sets or examples to learn patterns and then creates new original content, which could be text, could be images, could be music. It's the technology behind tools like ChatGPT, which can generate human-like text, and various AI-powered image generators or music generators. And these systems rely on very large data sets to learn patterns and produce realistic outputs. MHC, we've been in for over 25 years now, really the machine automation space for a long time, digitalizing and automating business processes to help users be more efficient and streamline business processes. About a dozen or so years ago, that's when we started moving into intelligent automation, solutions powered by artificial intelligence. At the time, it was largely around machine learning. And now, with the most recent advancements in the last couple of years, now we're getting into more predictive and generative AI, which is accelerating so fast, probably faster than most of us expected. It's really, truly exciting to be in this game-changing era. There's immense innovation potential, but we also recognize we have to think about the implications, the risks, the impacts on people, and how to best move forward. Speaking of humans, and the question at the beginning of our webinar, are you ready for the change and advancements upon us? There are plenty of studies out there that are telling all of us that our organizations are not ready. KPMG noted that while 83% of organizations plan to grow their generative AI investments, only 16% feel their workforce is ready for the change. So Dawn, as someone who spends all day enabling and empowering people, what does this quote make you think about?
Well, first of all, I believe it. I do believe our workforce is not ready because we've not provided the awareness and learning opportunities to drive adoption. So in all of my research and when I talk with fellow people leaders at all kinds of organizations, it is a widespread belief that workforces globally will require training and change management to truly take advantage of what AI has to offer. And that's why I'm so excited for my role, because my role is going to help our people get ready. And HR leaders are uniquely positioned to start driving this AI adoption with culture insights. We have the expertise with employee engagement and executing on the best communication messaging for our employees that helps build that AI awareness. And it is a priority for us here at MHC in adopting a culture of continuous learning, which also happens to be one of our core values, to future-proof our business with innovation and agility.
So it is truly fascinating to think about how much change is upon us. I am a natural change agent. I love change. I love technology. Yet it's still this really poignant time to think about how are we going to blend and capitalize what humans do best with what technology can do to help us achieve our goals. So again, Dawn, great question for a people leader. Where do you believe humans perform best?
I mean, there's many areas, right? People are skilled in so many areas, from developing an organization's culture to understanding and responding to emotions with empathy. We're building relationships, fostering teamwork. I'm always handling sensitive matters. And there's other areas where people perform their best. People are flexible. We can always adapt to changing conditions. We make quick decisions when faced with new situations and challenges. And people also bring a set of ethics and value-based decision-making to guide important choices. I'd also say strategic decision-making and big picture thinking, requiring intuition and long-term vision, are also strengths of humans that are very difficult for machines to replicate.
Yeah, great examples, again, of human ingenuity. And no wonder there's so much investment out there in the world to try and mimic that human intelligence. So fittingly, I'm sure you expect this, I also asked generative AI, ChatGPT, to answer the following prompt. What are 10 examples of work, tasks, or processes in business that can be performed only by humans and cannot be automated with AI? And here's what what ChatGPT responded with, or what it cannot do, at least yet. And you'll see here in this list that ChatGPT agrees with you, Dawn. Plus, there are some other examples that it provided as well. And even beyond those, I added one myself at the end. So at the bottom, added that humans are the ones who take action to initiate change. As we stated earlier, we're the ones who are championing the causes to enact the change. And we can't forget that, because that's an important part of improvement. So we've got machines to power automation and do what machines do best. If we think now about how we free up ourselves as humans to do what we do best, let's spend a couple minutes talking about that. Dawn, we both are busy professional moms. We each have a kid in college. We both have twin girls who are seniors in high school. We have a lot of responsibilities at work and at home. And of course, in our professional lives, we both care a whole lot about empowering employees to operate at their best. So can you share a few examples of how you leverage AI to improve productivity and get some time back in your day?
Yeah, for sure. And I am fortunate that I've done a lot of research, and I am embracing AI, and I use it every day. I use it with my communication efforts, and I have the enterprise license we have here at MHC with Microsoft Copilot. And from just a communication standpoint, it helps improve my tone and sentiment, making my messaging more inspiring and engaging for employees, as well as enhancing my grammar, just to double check things. I've also used AI to summarize data, helping me pinpoint trends and address key issues. For non-sensitive generic information, I've used ChatGPT to support career planning, sourcing competencies, outlining plans for learning and development. And AI has also enhanced our talent acquisition efforts on our team by planning interview questions, writing job descriptions, screening candidates more quickly, and also automating our onboarding process when a new hire joins our team. So our team is actively using it every day, and it has definitely helped improve my overall work productivity.
Yeah, great examples specific to your role. And I use it as well every day. And the thinking is like, why recreate the wheel? For certain things, there's no need. And we can get to the destination faster if we can leverage the thinking of others first. So great tips. And which is a great segue into our first poll to get some insights from all of you, from our audience. So we'd like to get your response to the following question. So as you see the poll information pop up, please select your answer, and we will share the results with you very shortly. So as I'm looking at the poll, our marketing team can help here when a large percentage of the group has responded. And it would be fascinating to see what the answer would have been 6 months ago, a year ago, 18, as we go back in time, it's the dependence on AI is increasing. At least that's what I feel. And I'm sure Dawn is in your examples. It's the more we can leverage it, the more ideas we have about how it can be leveraged. Okay, so do we have enough poll responses? Let's see what Great. Wow, what interesting split. So every day, so like Dawn and I using it every day, half of the group, once a week, a third of the group. And then there's a group that has never used it as well, 17%. So thanks for providing those options, or those answers, excuse me. Hopefully for those of you who are in the never category, that you'll learn something today that will inspire you to try it out, to try something new. Okay, so as we've talked about, learning is key. Our goal today is to share practical, actionable tips to help people learn and embrace intelligent automation, to make work life more productive and also make personal life more productive. So today we have 3 sets of 3 tips. This is the first set of 3 tips to share with you today. Dawn?
Yeah, and in my role, learning and development is going to be key in helping drive adoption. And so this is so important to learn. Read a book, join a learning community. There are many books out there. We have 3 listed here. I love the Ethan Mollick book. I've read Co-Intelligence. I think it's a great book, but there's many out there. He also has a great following on LinkedIn. So beyond books and these learning communities, you've got Substack and Medium, and I just mentioned LinkedIn. So follow these authors and just get out there in the community. And there's a lot of opportunities to learn more. I also think it's very important to understand your company policy and how to safely use AI tools to be more productive and compliant, because there's data privacy and security regulations to be mindful of. And along with confidential information, you want to be careful what you put out there. And that's why I have the Microsoft Copilot, because I want to protect company proprietary information. And then the third is engage with your peers in creative brainstorming sessions, how you can use AI. Think big about how it could make your work easier, more effective, improve your employees' internal experience and our customers' experience in working with our organization. So lots of things that we can do here to start embracing AI and what it has to offer.
Thanks, Dawn. So let's move on to our second agenda topic, tips to master wins in real life as artificial life expands. We simply cannot ignore that artificial life is expanding around us, and it will continue to expand, likely at an ever-increasing rate of acceleration. So as technology evolves and machines become even better at learning, those influences of artificial life will continue to impact more of our real life. And we believe it will be hard to tell the difference at times between 100% human intelligence versus machine intelligence. I'm sure we could all, if we did a poll right now and asked for feedback, I'm sure we could have incredible stories about chatbots and other experiences we have all had as consumers or members of an organization and ending up down the wrong path. So sometimes it's obvious and we can tell, sometimes it's not so obvious what's powering behind our communications. But who wouldn't want to target ways to save 50% of your time on key processes in your business, or save 30% of your operational costs to invest elsewhere? If we take the use case of document automation, a Forrester study claimed that organizations that implemented document automation technologies experienced up to 50% reduction in processing time and improve their productivity. Gartner estimates that organizations can save between 20 to 30% in operational costs by automating those document generation and processes and related activities. And that involves decreased labor costs and reduced risk of error. So the benefits of document automation and communication improvement make these investment decisions seem like no-brainers, yet they're not. Because as humans, again, we have to initiate change. And sometimes we can all get caught up in that mindset of, we've always done it that way. And the result is the status quo and stagnation. So champions of change are critical in all organizations. Here's another interesting statistic from an IBM study. And, Dawn, it sounds like most leaders out there believe generative AI success hinges on employee adoption, just as you mentioned earlier. But a decent portion are moving faster than their people are comfortable with. What does this statistic make you think about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a resistance to change, and it's the number one roadblock here. And we need to balance the speed of technology advancements with a proper understanding of AI and its capabilities to deliver the best results. So, most leaders realize that the best blending of technology and human intelligence is when the entire organization is educated and aligned. Therefore, fostering that culture of innovation with investments in training, managing change, that will turn resistance into acceptance. And that's, again, why I'm so very excited to be able to build a communication plan. And I'm working on this currently to help with awareness and adoption. And I think one of the really interesting points in this is if you can collect examples across the company in how other departments are using AI, it's a terrific way to educate other people on how you're automating tasks for better work productivity. So when you look at not only from an education, but it brings awareness across the company, how other departments are using it. And it's just one of many things that we're doing to drive adoption at MHC.
Yeah, great example. And it's also just, as you mentioned earlier, reading books, reading articles. There are so many blog posts out there about it. Learning what other organizations do always inspires, great ideas of what you may be able to do regarding what's important to your organization. So let's get your participation again. We'll ask you to respond to this poll question about, has your organization prioritized investments in artificial intelligence over the next year? And options, could be that, yes, it's very strategic. You might know that your leadership is very interested in advancing AI. Some might be a yes, we talk about it, but haven't really made a lot of progress. There could be some of you that the answer is no, there's no movement toward AI. And then others where you simply may not be sure what your organization is doing. So let's see if we've got enough of the respondents here responding. All right, so yeah, good mix actually across the group. So 25%, yes, it's strategic, it's a priority, we're moving. 42%, we talk about it, but we haven't made a whole lot of progress, that probably matches national, maybe even global statistics. 25% no, and then another smaller percentage unsure. Okay, thank you for doing that, for responding to the poll. We've all heard, in the work world especially, there are wise words, and I actually don't know the origin of the source, but we've always been talking about the need to integrate people, process, and technology. And now as we think about this new space we're in and the future of work, AI is really a new entrant to that equation. AI is ultimately a hybrid combination of people and technology. So today's goal is to prepare ourselves for that new dimension of people, process, technology, and AI. And of course, we could spend hours on this topic, but we're going to jump into a few tips and then move on to our final section.
And I'm going to kick off this slide because I added this picture this morning because, and I'll share with you in a moment, but this slide is about thinking big, start small, but more importantly, act now. So there's 3 tips here. And the real way to understand AI is to use it. Just carve out some time, experiment with AI, do it for work and fun. So this photo above is Paul Brokos, who is our VP of Channel Sales, sent me a photo this morning showing off his dog in a Halloween costume. And I thought, oh, how did you do that? And what I found out is he used ChatGPT. He used the prompt with his dog image and asked to create a Halloween lion costume with his dog. And so how fun is this, right? Having fun, asking questions, and you can see where it shines and where it stumbles. But when you have the hands-on experience, it'll teach you more than anything you'll read in a book and an article. You'll figure out a remarkable amount of how to use AI effectively, and you might even surprise yourself with what you discover. And you'll also find things are moving so fast that once you read a book, there's something new and improved that we've now learned about AI. So I also think articles and keeping up on that learning community and LinkedIn and those are just great ways, but just lean in, act now, and embrace this opportunity that we're all in and learning together.
Great. Love the costume. All right, so let's wrap up with our third and final section of today's session. And here's where we're going to build upon the knowledge of the strengths of humans and the strengths of machine automation and apply that learning to enhance customer communications. So with the right guidance from humans to align communications with specific business objectives, intelligent automation can drive operational efficiency, enhance customer experiences, and ultimately drive growth and competitive advantage for your organization. So as we think about this, let's examine the roles between humans and machines in this world that's near and dear to our hearts at MHC, customer communications. So on a daily basis, organizations of all sizes are exchanging varied purpose, varied format, varied mode information with customers. And they're doing so under the management of employees. There are typically a lot of systems involved in the process, yet we know that those are ultimately accountable for getting the communications out, and both the audiences are humans. When we think about, customer communications at scale, the necessary personalization, high variability, dynamic content, and time sensitivity that's expected in modern customer communications, it can be riddled with crippling pains when manual steps or human touch points are involved in those processes. And those pains are ultimately pains for humans. Whether it's a personal pain or organizational pain, ultimately we're the ones who suffer. And communications can be disjointed, confusing. Again, we can think back to our chatbot example that we've all experienced. Excessive document handling and distribution efforts and costs they could just keep growing, and we could be spending too much money where we shouldn't be investing our funds. Resource constraints, when people simply don't have the bandwidth to get things done. Manual and labor-intensive work is proven to be error-prone, whereas systems can be repetitive to get things done. It also creates a situation where there's lack of visibility, lack of controls, lack of compliance. Certainly in the world of customer communications, compliance is critical because there are so many regulated customer communications that have to be managed and monitored. And of course, responsiveness and communication issues, where it's really important to make sure that those internal relationships and external relationships with customers are prioritized. So we believe customer communication is an optimal use case for optimizing human plus machine automation to deliver increased value to organizations. And ultimately, when we do that, we're delivering value to their customers and potentially their customers' customers as well. So how? How can artificial intelligence improve customer and employee experience when it comes to customer communications? Well, the first is speed to value, faster speed to value. The second, providing more contextual communications. We can always do a better job improving contextual communications so that people can sort through the noise and ultimately read that critical message we're trying to convey. And then, of course, as Dawn mentioned, and we've talked about a bit, there are general productivity enhancements, ways in which we can get our work done more efficiently as we're communicating with customers. And in my role, and actually it's in my nature, it's always been music to my ears to hear about our customers' success. When we focus on the win-win-win, the win for customers, the win for the organization, the win for their employees, the results are compelling. If we take this example here, a tech-enabled services organization, they were plagued with slow time to market, significant variability needs. They were able to reduce their core editing work by 90%, which ultimately increased their output and ultimately led to better outcomes for them. Or here's an example of a financial services company able to improve the efficiency of revising their communications by 67%. Of course, it would be great if we could just leave communications and let them go, but that's not how the world works, right? They require revision. Regulations change. What used to take hours can now take seconds. And it's especially exciting when customers highlight hard dollar ROI savings, coupled with improved customer experience. One of our customers shared some incredible quantitative metrics articulating their progress after implementing our solution. After 3 months using our solution, their touchless processing rate, so 100% straight through, went from 25% of their transactions using an alternative solution to 98% straight through, no human intervention required. They saved money, they saved time, they improved the experience for their customers. And perhaps most importantly, and central to our conversation today, there was a real impact on human lives. The project idea may have started out to solve a particular pain point around errors and document issues, yet what resonated the most for the change leader of this initiative was the impact on people. The champion shared that employees' gratitude, they immediately felt relieved, not having to work overtime, not working nights, weekends on document quality and manually managing those errors, which ultimately that was all quality assurance and support work that should have been automated with a more reliable solution like ours years prior.
Well, Gina, I would say that this is music to my ears too. If I could just add on here, because I'm passionate. You all heard about my opening and more about me, but I'm passionate about the well-being and happiness of people at work. So proving work-life balance in that scenario is huge. It's incredibly powerful. And I love how AI supports not only productivity and work-life balance, but it really has the potential to expand human intelligence.
But couldn't agree more. And we at MHC are constantly innovating our solutions. Our goal is always to make our software solutions easier to use, more efficient. We listen carefully to our customers with what they're looking for and what they need. And yesterday, in fact, we launched AI Assist, a powerful add-on to our customer communication solution that automates the generation of both regulated and non-regulated customer communications at scale in the cloud. AI Assist infuses AI into document generation and provides our customers with faster ways to complete their work. So again, we're leveraging that. If you think of those circles at the beginning, leveraging generative AI. So using intuitive AI-driven prompts, business users can rapidly generate documents relevant to their business or communications or content fragments. They can perform one-click translations into a customer's preferred language or languages. They can adjust the tone and sentiment of communications in support of greater engagement with audiences. And they can also create interactive web forms to collect data from a variety of sources, It's not always distributing it. We also need to collect information from customers and other key stakeholders. If you're interested to learn more about AI Assist, I'd encourage you to please check out our website for the latest on this innovation and contact us to learn more. Finally, the last 3 tips are ultimately a call to action to consider your customer communications and how you handle them today. Are you getting the results you desire? Is your process efficient and streamlined? How many of us out there, I have to raise my hand, have said, we can't touch that process, or no, we've always done it that way, it's good enough. We've all said it. It's part of human nature, but we can't let fear hold us back. And improvement requires that commitment to change. And I have to say the same thing to myself all the time. So it's important to start with your goals and the why. Make a mini plan for the what and the how. Not tackling everything all at once, but starting small and taking action. And we'd also encourage you to leverage solution partners who know AI and know these technologies to help your organization accelerate your adoption and put your team on a path to success. This is part of one of our strategies at MHC, is leveraging organizations who have invested a lot in AI and are leaders in the space. And of course, keep prioritizing and focusing on what is most valuable to your organization. Thank you for joining our conversation today. If you want to explore ideas together regarding how to improve your customer or key stakeholder communications, please reach out to us at MHC. Dawn and I are certainly interested in continuing the dialogue.
Yeah, thank you, Gina. And I'll just also add, we definitely want to continue learning together, and not only reaching out to MHC through our website, please connect with us on LinkedIn. I love hearing about how other companies are leveraging AI. I love to network, collaborate with others. So let's continue the community, the learning together. And thank you for joining us today. Sharon, back to you.
All right, I want to thank you both for today's inspiring and educational discussion. And I also want to thank all of you, our attendees, for spending time with us today. We're going to close this webinar, but before we do, I just want to remind you that any questions put into the Q&A, we will reach out and answer them. And we will be sending you an email with a link to this recording today. So please watch for that and share it with any of your friends or colleagues. There's going to be a short survey as you exit the session, and please just take a moment to complete it. We really value your feedback. It's so important to us. And finally, we ask you to stay tuned for upcoming webinars by subscribing to our social feed. We have another one at the end of November that's actually going to delve into our AI Assist capabilities that we launched this week and that Gina just highlighted. These capabilities for our Engage CX customer communications platform. So please subscribe and be sure to join us. And until then, thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.